It's chilly in here. Okay, we are good to go. Okay. Going to call to order this Town of Griswold Board of Selectmen regular meeting on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, 6 p.m. First item on the agenda, call to order, roll call. Tina Falk for Selectmen. Rich Grabowski, Selectman. Martin McKinney to my right has stepped out for just a moment. And Executive Assistant Lisa Wood. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 3. Approval of minutes. We have June 24th, 2025, special meeting minutes, and June 24th, 2025, regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve items 3A and B as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve June 24th, special meeting minutes and June 24th, regular meeting minutes. I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 4, correspondence, report from, and this is not for action, it's just an FYI. Report from Griswold Volunteer Fire Department showing their call log from January to June 2025. I would like to add to that I also have, that I'd like to just put in as an FYI, and you have a copy of it too. For Jewett City Fire Department, they have been reporting their logs and their totals. And I just think it's very good information to have, just to
Absolutely.
review. So it's not an action item. It's just for your general information.
I'd like to forward a thank you to both departments for their efforts and dedication to the town of Griswold.
Okay. I will take care of that. Item 4B. There was a letter from Caleb Shinkowitz for proposal of a wellness station. This is a young man who is proposing the placement of a publicly available vending machine in a strategic area of Jewett City or nearby Griswold Park office, offering everyday items such as hydration, hygiene, emergency goods, and community service access. I think that this is something that we can discuss a little bit further down the road. We just want to do a little bit of research, and I think the borough has already done some initial research on this. So before we take any action on it, I'd like to see a little bit more about what he is offering. He is a Griswold resident. Okay.
You want to invite them to our next meeting and explain it
We can, if we,
if we're ready for it?
yep, absolutely. Okay, so we will move on to number 5, old business. Discussion and possible action on proposed revisions to the Registrar of Voters ordinance as presented by the ordinance committee. And it just seems like this has been hanging for quite some time. So the only comment that we did receive back from the attorney was that having a 4-year term is permissible.
Yep.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. Even if other terms are 2 years. And there was another question to direct at Eric. So I don't know what your sense is.
Personally, I don't think we need to change anything at this point. I mean, it's all, it says the same thing and just 4 pages later and leaving it 2-year terms, I don't have a problem with it. And apparently the registrars themselves had no opinion one way or the other. So I don't see a reason to change it at this point.
Any discussion, Martin?
You know my concern was the 4 versus 2 years, and if that's been addressed by the attorney, I guess I'm fine. I say for lack of a word, I don't have an opinion, but it, you know, I don't mind changing it, and I don't mind leaving it the way it is at this point, so. If Richards doesn't wanna move it on, I don't wanna move it on.
Okay, so. You have to make a decision on you want to keep it 2 years or you want to make it 4 years?
I think okay, I'll keep it the way it is. That's my opinion.
The original one without before the ordinance committee, the original,
Yeah.
or the original draft on what we had, or the original,
Was there?
the 3 paragraphs.
Yes,
So the opinion is the ordinance should remain as is.
that's my opinion.
Right, am I correct?
Yes, that's his motion, I'll second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. To have the registrar of voter ordinance remain as it currently stands. We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item 5B, discussion and possible action on proceeding with the results of the local government research committee. And Rich, I'm gonna let you take this one.
Well, I mean, I presented the information to you both, last meeting. And I felt it was time for us to move, forward or not at this point in time. I says our goal was to, if we wanted to change or propose a change of any kind and wanted to be on the ballot for November, it had to be in the town clerk's office by September 1st. So I brought it up now because I thought that we would have enough time here in the next 6 weeks to put something together and ask the town council to formulate how maybe the question should be proposed. If there's gonna be a question, or if you feel like you wanna leave the status of the board as it is, that's fine. Or if we wanna make a change based on the information that we've gathered over the last 6, 7, 8 months, we can go forward and put the question on the machines in November.
So it's hard to tell from this, but it looks like 2 of them were tied at 31.1%.
Yeah, basically, the opinion of the committee was it's pretty much a 3-way tie. I mean, and which one was, I think the general consensus from the committee meetings was, they seemed to like the 5-member board with a 4-year term as a recommendation. There was also, I think in the minutes that I provided you, one of the members, there was a thing in there we put in there that there could not be more than 3 members from any political party. One of the committee members thought it should be 2, but that was an option, and it was in the minutes that I relayed to you.
Okay,
I just felt that whether it's today, or our next meeting, we need to decide one way or the other whether we're gonna go forward with it or not.
Right, I think we spent a lot of time on it, you're 100% right, I was kind of shocked on how, a third was town manager, which kind of shocked me, to be honest with you, because that's restructuring a whole scenario, but I think, because we did put so much time in, I think we should move it forward and spend the next meeting working on the wording of the question, maybe simply say whether we, yes or no, do you want a 5-member committee, and do you want it to be 2 or 4 years? You know what I mean, or something like that. That's I was kind of thinking simple, but
Yeah.
but if you guys wanna
It's
be more
simple,
complex with it,
as far as the
I'm
question
fine.
concerned, yes, we don't need a
Right,
complicated.
but I was shocked at how many votes town manager got though.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing too, because I think in the long run, I think that was a consensus too, that to go from where we are now to that now would be too large of a
Too big
leap
of a step,
all
right,
at once,
because
but this 5-member would be a step in that direction.
So if your motion is to move forward to, working on a question, the wording on it for the next meeting, I'm definitely would like to move it forward to a 5-member board, board of selectmen, or maintain the way it was, or 2 years or 4 years. That was the only two.
Yeah, but
We could probably do it.
We have to decide.
you can't put that many options out there.
This is two.
So option 3, a 5-member board with a 4-year term,
Right,
right?
right. And then
Option-
was it two, do you want the term to be 2 or 4 years?
Option 2, 3-member board with 4-year.
No, if it
You
gets
wanna
voted
keep it
down,
a
if it gets
5-member
voted down,
board.
it stays the way it is. That's our understanding, Rich, with the council, if they vote it down,
What's that?
if they vote the 5-member down, it stays the way it is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So there's only gonna be one question
That's,
on the ballot.
well, I mean, that's our decision. It was my feeling anyway, that to keep the question as simple as possible. And so whatever the question is going to be, if we decide to go forward with a change, that it make it as simple as a simple yes or no question, and not,
Right, and
I
I
don't-
think we should do 2, not length of term and number of people on the board. That's my consent.
2 questions.
2 questions.
Okay,
That's my thought.
Okay,
okay.
that's,
So the motion is going to be to, come up with the appropriate language to present at the next board meeting. And vote on that.
I can do that.
All right, and then do you want to, do you want to talk with town's attorney on that to see
Absolutely.
what the appropriate language should be?
Yes,
Okay,
I'll do that.
thank you, Rich. All right, so do we need to vote on anything with that to just
I would just
table it?
ask you to put it on the agenda next
Next month,
next meeting.
Okay. Okay. 6A, discussion on possible actions, a discussion and possible action on 6 tax refunds for a total of $2,798.44 as presented by Leona Sharkey, tax collector.
I make a motion that we, return 6 tax refunds for the total of $2,798.44 as presented by Leona Sharkey, tax collector.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second to approve these 6 tax refunds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6B, discussion and possible action on social media issues.
I have none.
I have nothing. 6C, discussion and possible action on the appointment of Cheryl Canova, Yvonne Pulaski, and Cece Norwood as members of the America 250th Committee.
I have no problem with that.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Cheryl Canova, Yvonne Pulaski, and CC Norwood as members of the current America 250th Committee.
I second that motion. I was just wondering how many people are on there now, or is this the first 3?
We're just getting it off the ground.
Okay.
I received, communication from Hartford, and I told them that we are working on the committee. I've also, I think that we need to have, and I think, Lisa, you mentioned that at the last meeting, we said like a 7-member committee. But I think off of that, there should be subcommittees. For example, maybe somebody from the Historical Society, they can do some type of programming. I did talk to the veterans this morning. And I kind of put the bug in their ear that, maybe they could think of some type of project, because that's what the state is encouraging towns to do. So, yeah, we want to get a board or a committee, and then we want to do, other groups.
Can I ask
shooting
a
off of
foolish question? Is the state supplying us with any kind of funds?
No. No.
That's what I said, foolish question.
You knew the answer to that.
I know, I just want to put it out there.
All right, so we have a motion. Did we have a second on the appointment of these ladies?
I second.
Okay, motion and a second to appoint Cheryl Canova, Yvonne Pulaski, and Cece Norwood as members of the America 250 Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Discussion and possible action on agreement with NECOG for animal services. I did go through this with Eric.
basically the same.
It is, we went, and Lisa, you and I read it together, just to make sure
Did it go up at all, or price stay level?
it's level.
Okay,
They have provided some very good service to us. I don't know if you knew about the cat hoarding situation. We also had the gentleman over here who, with the dog bite, they were prompt, they were efficient and, extremely helpful. So I have to say that Griswold should be happy with NECOG.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the first selectman to sign the agreement with NECOG for animal services to the town of Griswold.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to sign the NECOG agreement for animal services. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 7, any other business that may properly come before the board?
I may have one.
Go for it.
All right, I'd like to propose that we send the Board of Ed a letter
First-
to,
first-
put on the agenda to, maybe, the Board of Selectmen send the Board of Ed a letter to maybe, work on 2 of those tennis courts to make them pickleball courts on their facility. It does. seem to be-
I'll second the motion to put it on the agenda,
Okay.
subject of a pickleball courts.
So we have a motion and a second to add on to the agenda, the subject of pickleball courts. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Go ahead, Martin.
All right, so, it's come to the 3 of us attention, we've had multiple people ask us about pickleball. I guess there's a Lisbon League and a Griswold League, and right now they're playing in Lisbon, that's my understanding. Not that donation is a big thing, but we think we have enough stuff rounded up that we could potentially, resurface and redo the tennis courts at the,
High school.
high school. Not all of them, but maybe 2 if they'll do 2, or maybe start, we have to start with 1, I'm not really sure. But I'd like to put it out for discussion, that we see if we can, do that with the tennis courts that we're not using.
Yeah, I'm in favor of looking into it and investigating the possibilities of creating some pickleball courts, but we need to forward it to the Board of Education
That's correct.
first. It's their property, and
Yeah.
I think that I don't see why they would be object, but that's gotta be our first step.
Right, I agree,
So would you like me to generate a letter to the Board of Ed
I think so.
with
If you
that
want.
proposal?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to. Rich?
I agree.
Okay. Okay. It seems that anywhere, and I don't know about you, but anywhere I go, there have been quite a few requests, for pickleball courts. And, I think that if we can find a way to make that happen, it would be a good thing for the community. It seems to be
The new
the
rate,
rage
the new
these
rage.
things, these days.
Well,
So,
we have
yeah.
the spot. It just needs to be, it's been neglected for a number of years, so we can put together something through donations or funding of some sort. We can repair that surface and make it accessible.
I believe we can.
Right.
Accomplish that with, a low budget.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right,
I would say,
I'll generate
tell the
a
board that we're not looking for funding at this point, we're just looking
No.
for use of the
Permission,
facility.
yeah, go ahead and fix it.
yeah.
I don't see what they would object.
Okay, so
Sorry.
any motion necessary?
I'll make a motion that we ask the first selectman to forward a letter to the school board and convey our interest in repairing the tennis courts and making them available for pickleball.
Okay, we have a
I
motion
second the
and a
motion.
second. Okay, motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, any other business that may properly come before the board?
Nothing.
I have nothing. Okay, then we will move on to number 8, public forum. Public forum, yes.
Anybody want to speak what trail? 2 items, the register of voter ordinance, I believe we wrote that up based on you guys suggesting it. We wanted to make some changes. I'm just, I don't know if we want to sit down and have a meeting with Rich, myself. I don't know, what the changes were gonna be. I think he wrote it up. For a suggestion from, I think Tina, you, right?
Yeah, there was a suggestion. There were some, conflicts, and Lori, you're sitting there grinning because you know that there were some discrepancies on wages and payment, and we thought that it might be a way to find some common ground. The only thing, I mean, what came back to us, and Rich, you commented on this, was pretty lengthy. And I really don't think that these documents need to be as lengthy as we're receiving. Concise and accurate is great, but, and a lot of what was stated in that ordinance it just came out of state statute. So, I think if we can keep it basic but concise.
Communication amongst us and get it straightened out, but I also know you guys have been dealing with the issue with the bay. And if we can get that hammered out in black and white in the ordinance, that could help further issues. Yeah.
Well, I think last night we kind of, and Wayne, you were there. I think that it's this and it's this. I think that decisions were made last night. And certainly with the town budget, you know, it's this and it's this. There are no gray areas. So I think having said that, things hopefully will be much smoother. Yeah, so. But no, I mean, you know,
If it's in black and white going forward, it could prevent a lot of the, conflict that we had.
Yeah,
in the last couple of weeks.
and I'm happy to sit down and talk about it. I just think that it really, it doesn't need to be that lengthy, but that was
Change
extreme.
we can trim.
Yeah.
Trim it down.
Yeah.
The second one was for the 250th committee. I'm pretty sure Rich Bosley sent in a letter for that. He's like the first one that jumped in the family.
Then if there is a letter, then I don't know if it's in the 250th, but bless him. Tell him to jump on board and yep, we'll get him appointed.
You want to send another letter in?
Yeah, have him send it in, have him copy Lisa, copy and send it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Because I even think that with the 250th, I think the fire departments would be kind of an interesting.
Yeah.
Look back,
I'm
honestly.
sure we'll be a big part of it.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Any other public forum? I don't know. I was wondering if he was okay there for a minute.
Okay.
All right, yes.
So Lori Sorter, 67 Ashland Street. I just, was interested in the wording of the questions that may go on to the ballot. And if there is a question about 2 versus 4, is that the time where you put 4 years staggered? Or,
It's
They won't let us,
oh, you can't do that.
well, they couldn't find a parallel, right, right? Rich?
Right, I mean, there was
They
no,
couldn't find any other town that,
similar to your board, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's,
Right.
to stagger it, there was, according to the attorney, he couldn't find anything that
Any town.
resembled even, something that's already been established. So he suggested that we just leave it as similar to the borough where you're elected every 2 or 4 years, whatever.
Yeah,
But
that's
as
odd.
as a
too,
5-member
because,
board, yeah.
You have other boards,
Yeah.
within the-
no, we totally agree, but that's what they couldn't find a parallel former.
That's
Lisa, I think I told
interesting.
us.
Oh, for the stagger?
Yeah.
So I did send a letter after that meeting, your last meeting, I sent a letter to Secretary of State, and I got a response. I can't open it for some reason, I have to give it. But they did send me a response about the alternate 2 years. Splitting the terms.
Staggering.
Staggering. 5-member board.
I have no knowledge. I was
I-
not involved with this at all.
Just
so.
basically with the town attorney told.
If I can get it open, I'll let you know what they came up with.
Jim?
You could find nothing that said you
Mr.
could
Barney?
do it, but you didn't find anything. that
Mr.
said-
Barney,
James Barney, 735 Oakville Road.
thank you.
You didn't find anything that said you could do it, but you didn't find anything that said you couldn't do it either.
I never said you did.
I mean,
I never said you couldn't. I'm just,
no,
I relayed the information that was given to me. That's,
So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my consideration is that it doesn't say you can't do it. Why can't we just move forward with doing it? Makes a lot of, I'm sorry, it makes a lot of sense from the point of view, especially if a whole board should get unelected, then you got no continuity.
Okay, well, I leave it up to these two gentlemen because I did not participate in this at all, so. Okay. Thank you. Any other public forum? Okay, hearing none. Number 9. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Okay, motion to adjourn at 6:25. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What is this? Is this?
No, under correspondence, there's a Bridgeville Fire Department, they're doing stats.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then